Yo, 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 what's up? It's Tyler, your host for Sharks in the Bay. We got Ruben in the building. What's up? How you been? How you doing?
What's going on, Tyler? Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here today.
Much pleasure. Much appreciated. So, what does fitness mean to you?
Fitness means to me more than just meets the eye. So it's more just about the aesthetic behind it. It's a little bit more about proving to yourself that things are possible. You know what I mean? That might sound open-ended, but in my opinion, I almost feel that it's given me a chance to recognize that I'm capable of more than what I thought I would have been had I not just gone straight into working on my body, working on myself, and trying to accomplish goals that I seemed far-fetched at one point, but are very tangible.
I see. I be seeing you on your Instagram, and you're pretty efficient.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm definitely working regularly. I actually got a lot more deeper into fitness in around 2021. So after COVID, well, during COVID, matter of fact, you know, gyms were closed down. We were on school on the computers all the time. I was out of work for maybe 6 months or so. So I was just hanging out all night, very late, just playing Call of Duty, and Uber eating food every single night. So I got actually really out of shape during COVID. So come 2021, I recognized, okay, I still love enjoying working out. So let me just get back to that and slowly work my way towards getting back into shape. Slowly but surely, I decided to do a couple things I'd never done before, and it got me into the best shape of my life. And then from then on, I just kind of took off with it and just never looked back.
COVID was a devastating time, especially for all of us.
Agreed.
Yes. And then, like, what were some things that you've accomplished during COVID?
I actually graduated with my AA during COVID, so that was cool.
Same, me too. I graduated December of 20.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, I graduated during that. I actually began working on my own with a mobile bartending service. So I have my own LLC, catering to private events, parties, that kind of stuff, weddings, where I'll basically come and host the entire party. I've done up to groups of 200 people on my own. And that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to be your own boss, that kind of stuff. So I still keep up with that up until now. And then I recognized that the route of, you know, just making sure you're in control of your income, it just makes a whole lot more sense for me.
Entrepreneur, that's some boss shit.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm on now.
Yeah, I'm looking into entrepreneurship too. I'm looking forward to becoming my own boss. And then I don't see myself working in the industry for so long, especially where I'm gonna get like medium pay. It's like, I gotta do all this work, and then all of a sudden, I'm getting like a basic paycheck.
I can see that. And what space have you looked into up until now?
I've been looking into production.
Okay, great. That's great. So this is awesome right here. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm looking to be my own creator.
Okay, dope. I'm glad you chose the fitness route because I'm happy to be here and talk about everything in between, you know what I mean?
Yes, it is. Upon your fitness journey, like, have you experienced the MDC North gym?
That's funny you ask. So maybe around 2019 or so, maybe when we had math class together, around that time, I had been once before with one of my very close friends. I had known him since elementary school. So he started coming to the North Campus before I did, and I started training with him there for maybe a week or so, but I never ended up making it back there.
Wow. Wow, could you believe it's been 5 years since we last seen each other?
It's been a while.
Yep, since we had class together.
Yeah, I'm glad we've kept up.
Yeah, like it seemed like just yesterday, like when we were just in math class, and then I would help you out with some equations.
Oh yeah, that was tough. I remember that.
Yeah, and then you also, remember that day where I helped you with your homework?
Yes, necessary.
And then this girl, she came to us, she was like, hey, what y'all doing?
Oh, I remember that day in particular, but I'm not too sure about that girl.
It was like by the cafe.
Okay, so we're basically we're on the outside cafeteria or so?
Yeah, we were like by the cafe, like one of those huts.
Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that day exactly now. It's funny. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that.
Yes, and then she kind of gave you like a look on your face. She was like, okay, y'all get done with y'all math.
Yeah, that was necessary. Yeah, math was definitely a tough subject for me then. After we had math together, I actually was going to, don't remember what the campus was called, but it was on Northwest 7th Avenue and around 91st Street or so, MDC as well. And I had a professor called Professor Anthropan. He was great, man. There's no way you could fail that class. He literally made sure everyone and anyone in there understood what was going on. And so the next 2 math classes I took after seeing you, which I probably finished with a B or so, A+ across the board. So that was great.
Yeah, like I helped you. You remember when I helped you with study for your final?
Yeah, that was necessary. Thank you for that, man.
Yes, it's the thing about math. Do you consider fitness and math alike because they're both repetitive?
Yeah, it can be, absolutely. Well, you gotta know what you're lifting in the gym, right? That's how you keep track of progress. If you go in there without an exact plan, some people even go in there and notebook what they're lifting, how much they lifted it for, time and attention, everything else in between. For example, my father, he's very old school bodybuilder-ish type guy. He's 52 years old now, and he still lives the life of a bodybuilder, eats, sleeps, trains. He goes into the gym with a notebook every single day, making sure he's tracking what he did the day of, what he did last week, and the week before that, to make sure he's progressing the entire time.
I think I've seen you before. I think he might have posted him.
Oh yeah, several times. Yeah, real big guy, long hair. He almost looks like he's a big Samoan
He kind of looks like a Latin Arnold.
That's exactly what he looks like, real big guy. He's like 23-inch arms. So yeah, I definitely get a little bit of influence from my dad. He's been bodybuilding since he was over in Cuba. So he's been working with weights since he was 14 years old.
14?
Yeah.
Yep, and then also for my fitness journey.
Okay.
Yes, I've been wanting to lose weight. Like, have you ever had a moment where people tell you, hey, you look fat, you've been gaining weight? Do you consider that a greeting?
I like to say, take it as you may, but it's also, you got to be very cognitive of those kind of comments you do make them towards somebody. So in my opinion, I do recognize, let's say if I wanted to compliment someone or just tell them I see something different in their physique, whether for worse or for better, I'll just tell them, hey, you look different. Well, I'll say with a smile on my face, like, hey, you look different. At that point, I'll allow that person to tell me, oh, thank you. I'm actually been working very hard in the gym and trying to gain weight. Or I'll let them tell me, oh, thanks, Ruben. I'm actually working really hard to cut some fat on me. I'm trying to get good for summer, you know what I mean? So yeah, those kind of things, I can see how that can almost make and break a person. So absolutely, like that can be detrimental or very beneficial to some people to hear that. Particularly, in my example, I'm just recovering from an injury. So I'd stopped training since last year, November, until last week. So I've seen a few people recently in the gym because I just returned. They're like, hey, Ruby, you look like you lost some weight. But I don't take that negatively. I take it in the sense of, like, okay, like that makes complete sense. Now I need to hold myself to a standard to get to where I was and then exceed that when it comes to, muscle mass and everything else in between. But I just know I had to take some time off of the gym to, recover my shoulder and everything in between. But yeah, I just feel like people should take compliments or those kind of statements with a grain of salt and just recognize, okay, whether they liked it or they didn't like it, it's just time for me to work a little bit harder, continue studying a little bit more about what's going to help me get towards my goal, and make sure that I'm holding myself accountable towards that. So the next time that same person sees me, they're going to say, hey, last time I saw you, you were kind of fat. You're looking better now. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I can relate to that because when we were at MDC North, I looked thick, like a little chunky.
That's true.
Yes, and then a year later, I decided to shred that fat off to get my abs to show.
Mm-hmm.
And if you could look at me now, I lost a lot of weight. I look a little toned.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yep, and then like my jawline starts to look a little defined.
Definitely a different person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the aesthetic definitely is there. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah. When we were at MDC, have you ever felt like you were like a ladies' man? You felt like, you were after the ladies?
I would like to say yes and no. I typically just try to be a gentleman, you know what I mean? I feel that women are just naturally attracted to that. I'm not going to stop being nice to either men or women because of whatever reason, you know what I mean? But while we were in MDC, I was actually just beginning to speak to the girl I'm still dating now. So, the 2018, 2019 range, I started speaking to a young lady then. We've been dating ever since, and we actually just moved into our first apartment together in August of last year. So yeah, man, so I guess that worked out for me in that case because I've got a real good girl by my side now.
Congrats.
I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Yes. While in a relationship, what's the best way to manage school in your relationship?
Try to help each other wherever you can. Just speak out loud where that they may be able to assist you, or just bring up whatever might be on your mind when it comes to academics, or just making time for everything in between. And take some time to study together. Even if it's in the same room, you don't speak to one another. Just make sure that you guys are supporting one another if and when necessary.
Mm-hmm. Yes. How does fitness and fashion go hand in hand?
Oh, 100%, a lot. So I feel like everyone kind of has their own kind of gym swag, right? So I go into the gym and I recognize I like wearing oversized clothes sometimes. Just because of the fact that once you get in the gym, get the blood pumping, get some, a pump going on, you want to take that shirt off and reveal a completely different person. Because once the weight starts hitting the body gets a little bit plump. Yeah, so I'll probably walk into the gym with like a big oversized, like vintage, like rock shirt or something going on. Under that, I'll have like a tank top. I don't really wear sweats. I sweat a lot, so I'm always in shorts, which I prefer.
I always wear shorts.
Yeah, exactly. I know you're into sneakers, and so am I. So I wear all my shoes to the gym.
I've been a sneakerhead like since 2013, for almost 10 years.
Yeah, yeah. So I wear it all to the gym. You know what I mean? I don't, pick and choose, but it definitely has it's something to be recognized by. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah. Like, what do you think fashion is about?
I think fashion is definitely about wearing something that you recognize is easy for you to put on and for you to feel good in. Something that represents you. Whether other people may be a fan of it or not, it's about this is exactly what I like wearing, and this is who I am. You know what I mean? So just whether it's silly, fun, or aesthetic, whatever it may be, it's completely up to you. But yeah, man, I think making sure that you wear whatever you want and what you like and whatever you want to purchase, it's on you. I'm all for it.
I feel like fashion go hand in hand because it's all about confidence.
Yes.
Yes, it's all about proving that you could be that man or that bitch in the room.
Agreed. That's the point. Yeah, agreed. If you wear it with a smile on your face, then it's always gonna look good. Doesn't matter what you got on.
Yep. What is the guy version of a bad bitch?
I think a gentleman that definitely takes care of himself. You know what I mean? Is organized and make sense of decisions that'll benefit him in the long run, not just in the moment. That's my definition of that. What about yours?
I feel like it's a guy who is pretty confident, someone who doesn't take anything from anyone.
Okay, yeah, agreed.
Yes, and it's someone who puts their self first.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, absolutely. It's okay to be a little selfish, right?
It could be, yes, it could be very good, but very bad at the same time because you're probably not really considering anyone's feelings, and you don't want to come off too cocky and arrogant.
No.
And that could be a turnoff.
I agree. Yeah. So it's all about making sure that you're an honest man, that recognizes his best intentions for himself.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you one of these questions.
Yeah.
Rip or Jack?
Oh man, somewhere in between. But honestly, I think ripped is the way to go because you'll find a lot more people that are jacked, as in bigger, a lot more muscle mass, as opposed to someone that's very low body fat. I just feel like when someone's very low body fat, it's hard to maintain, it's hard to get there. You got to be hard in your mind to make sure you get to that point. For example, me, when I was competing and getting ready to compete last year, I was in some dark places sometimes, and there's times where you literally just feel the fat melting off of your body. And when you wake up in the morning and you see every single line across your body, it's just a different feeling. And I think that's second to none. A lot of people never see it, and that's okay. It's tough to get there.
For me, I like ripped because it's kind of like more like an aesthetic physique. You kind of have like the defined arms. Like, I really don't like the full look.
Yeah, it almost looks.
I don't like the bulky look.
It looks a little soft.
Like Michelin Man.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either. So like, definitely if your goal is to put on some extra muscle, you are gonna have to go a little bit deeper into the body fat stage because it's just easier for you to attain that muscle and retain it. But once you're getting into that shred, you're gonna know who you are at that point. You're gonna recognize, like, can I do this or not? And then that's what's gonna separate the boys from the men.
You know how when there's an idea where you could gain muscle and then lose fat at the same time.
Yeah.
Is that like an oxymoron?
No, I don't agree. I think that's definitely possible.
It is possible.
Definitely possible. I think if you're eating enough calories that are coming from a kitchen at home, that you're making sure you know everything's going to your body, you got enough protein going in there, enough fats, enough greens, everything in between, you know what I mean? If your nutrition's on point and you have some knowledge behind that, or you hire a coach, it's 100% possible to put on muscle while burning fat. Definitely.
Great. How does fitness impact your mental health?
I believe that the gym has, as cliche it may sound, has saved my life because it's the only time of the day when I'm by myself doing something for myself. So anything else that was a trouble or a problem prior to that doesn't exist when I'm in the gym working on myself and making sure that I'm moving towards the next obstacle.
For me, it impacted me because I was once lost in my career. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Like, I was addicted to getting to the bag, money. Like, I was at a point where I didn't really know my worth. And then when I kind of got to fitness, it introduced me to a new topic.
I can see that.
where doing what you love is the best thing ever.
Oh, absolutely. You know what I mean? In my opinion, man, no amount of money should be able to take you from what makes you happy. You know what I mean? Fulfillment is different to everybody. Whether your fulfillment is 40K a year or 400K a year, it's completely up to you. But if you can chase that fulfillment while doing what you really enjoy, can you ask for anything else? You know what I mean?
What advice would you give someone who doesn't love themselves, who wants to better their physique?
I'd like to say, take the time to recognize that it can be different. What are you gonna do? Just be unhappy the rest of your life? Doesn't sound realistic, right? So just take the deep dive. Having a personal trainer or a coach is a luxury, but if you can invest into that, do that. If not, do your due diligence to find the knowledge that you need to be able to get in better shape. Hit the weights and be patient, because this is a lifelong journey. It's not gonna happen overnight.
All right, so thank you all for an amazing episode. Ruben, I want to thank you for gracing your presence to our screens.
Thanks,
we
man.
really, truly appreciate you.
Absolutely, Tyler. I appreciate you coming out here,
Thank you
dude.
so much.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, this is Sharks in the Bay. Tune into the next episode, and we out.
Tell them.